a validator that throws away the only thing you gave it and then reports no problem at all. 2 frontier coding agents get that bug, a request that has sat unanswered for 2 years and a blank directory that has to turn into Slack. Every one of them comes back green. Then you read the diffs. It is July 31st, and this is the AI code report. Claude Code is driving Fable 5. Codex is driving Sol, the GPT-5.6 coding model. Both dialed to high, both handed identical words, both with a workspace of their own, and 3 jobs to get through. First job, AJV. It is the JSON schema validator that decides whether incoming data is allowed through, and it sits underneath a very large amount of what you have installed without ever asking for your attention. Issue 2541, filed in March of last year, still open, no comments on it, nothing attached to it, nobody has tried. Here is the complaint with the jargon taken off. You give the validator 2 instructions at once. Throw away any field I did not describe, and never accept an empty object. So you hand it an object whose only field is one you did not describe. It throws that field away. That leaves nothing. And then it tells you nothing is fine. Hand it an empty object yourself and it refuses. Correctly. Same empty object, 2 different verdicts depending on how it got empty. That is the library as it stands on both machines, with neither agent briefed yet. Both of them go straight for the code generator, which is the part of AJV that writes the validator rather than the part that is won. Sol lands first at 4 minutes 30, Fable at 5:21. Both reproduction scripts turn green end to end, both suites climb from 7612 passing to 7613, and neither one drops a test. Then you open the diffs. Fable changed 43 lines, Sol changed 16, and only 2 of those are in the library itself, because they did not repair the same thing the same way. Sol moved the furniture. 2 lines telling the tidying up to run before the counting, so whatever counts the fields is already looking at the final shape. Fable left the order exactly where it was and added a second look. It remembers whether anything really was thrown away, and if it was, it counts again. Both green, both defensible. So put the neighboring cases through them, with the untouched library sitting there as the control. Sol's 2 lines also change how the upper limit is judged. They also quietly repair a second bug in the required check. And they also change when fields get stripped on a path that was going to fail anyway. Fable's 43 change nothing at all except the thing that was reported. So the small diff is the wide one. Hold on to that because it is the argument the rest of this video is having. Second job, attrs, the library that takes the boilerplate out of Python classes. Issue 1241, open since February 2024. No comments on it and no pull request either. Nothing here is broken. Somebody just wants something built. Python's own data classes let you drop a marker into the middle of a class, and everything below that marker has to be passed by name instead of by position. Attrs never had one. Build it. Sol needs 4 minutes and 4 seconds flat. Fable comes in at 5:59. 13 checks drawn up from the issue while both copies were still untouched and scoring 1 out of 13 against the library as shipped. Fable 13. Sol 13. The same 6 files on both sides, right down to the type stubs. What differs is the paperwork. Fable wrapped 18 new tests around it. Sol wrote 9. Now the job that no single line can settle. Empty directory, 1 brief, 30 acceptance criteria. Build Slack. Registration, hashed passwords, roles, channels, messages, threads, reactions, joining and leaving, search, a filter, 2 sort orders, pagination, an admin door, workspaces sealed off from one another, and all of it working on a phone. Sol finishes in 11:53, Fable in 14:34. Fable built Relay, dark, tight, and openly wearing the shape of the thing it is imitating. Sol built Harbor, light, serif, and dressed like a product that had a design review. Channels either side, messages carrying an author, a timestamp, and reaction pills, threads with a reply count that actually moves. Settings, search, the create form, and the admin door, where the first account can delete anybody's channel and everyone else is turned away for real. Type another workspace's channel address straight into the bar and neither of them lets you through. 30 criteria written off the brief while both folders were still empty. Fable, 30. Sol, 30. Not one dropped on either side. So look at the shape instead. Relay is 30 files, and its biggest single piece of source ends at 171 lines. Harbor is 16 files, and 473 of them sit inside one view. Harbor also spent more than twice as much of itself on styling, and on a desktop it earns that. On a 390-pixel phone, it hands the bill back. The message box floats over the conversation instead of sitting beneath it, and Relay pins the same box to the bottom, where your thumb already is. One more, and this one is quiet. Both store the password properly, only Sol also hashes the session key before writing it down, so a stolen copy of the database is not a drawer full of working logins. Here is that quality RID, scored by hand from the screens and the file tree. And here is what neither of them did. 2 working products, 60 criteria between them, and not one test file anywhere. My verdict. Take Sol when you want the change to be small and you are content for it to be right about the rest of the file on your behalf. Take Fable when you would rather nothing else moved at all. Sol won every clock today. What is left behind afterwards is not the same object in either case. This has been the AI Code Report. See you in the next one.